Hey everyone, I hope you are having a wonderful day so far. I am just dropping this special little clip into all the episodes. So, no matter what episode you're listening to, this is actually pretty current as of July 2024. I wanted to come on here and just say a big thank you to Earworthy because the Life Shift podcast was just named the best overall podcast of the year in the first Earworthy Independent Podcast Awards. And you've probably seen some articles written about the Life Shift podcast before, written by Earworthy. And now he is launching from his online publication, he is launching these yearly winners of independent podcast awards. And these are specifically for indie podcasters. We are those that wear all the hats. We create the show. Some people write the show. We're producers, sound engineers. We troubleshoot all the tech. We do any kind of research if we need to. We host the shows. We distribute the shows. We do all the things that relate to our shows because we love it. And it's so nice to see my name in a list with some other amazing podcasts like Multispective, which won Best Life Lessons Podcast. Salad with a Side of Fries won Best Health Podcast. Bippity Boppity Business won Best Business Advice Podcast. And there are so many more. And so I just want to come on here and say thank you to Earworthy for not only doing these awards every year and just honoring some of us indie podcasters that sometimes feel like we're just shouting into the void, but we're not. We're just doing what brings us joy, and hopefully through that work it brings other people joy. In my case, for the Life Shift, I hope that each episode finds the ears that needed to hear it the most so that they feel a little less alone in their circumstance. But also, Earworthy writes all these amazing publications pretty much weekly, every week, every weekday, I should say, where he writes on Blogger, Medium, Substack, Tumblr, Vocal, Many Stories, and for other places. And he really just highlights the independent podcasters. So thank you, Frank, for everything you do with Earworthy and for recognizing all of us in the first Earworthy Independent Podcast Awards. If you'd like to read more, please head to medium.com/EAR hyphen WORTHY. Thanks again and enjoy this episode. I'm Matt Gilhooly, and this is The Life Shift, candid conversations about the pivotal moments that changed lives forever. My friends, I am here with Christina and Ricky. So this is my first time talking to two people at once, so we should have quite an interesting conversation going on here. But as you know, in this podcast, I'm trying to have conversations about the pivotal moments that have changed people's lives completely in a new direction. And we've had a lot of fun conversations. So I appreciate you guys being here and getting ready to share your story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Christina and I have worked together for...
I've been there for 13 years, so I think we were right around the same time.
Yeah, so a long time, and then I left, and then, I came back, and they actually have my couch.
Great couch. It's a great couch.
Amazing couch.
That's our main connection, because I lived on that couch for a bit, and now they live on that couch, so
Yes.
I feel really connected. But I did have the pleasure of being at your wedding as well, which was quite an experience. It was a nice day out.
It was a lot of fun.
I only melted just a little bit right before the ceremony.
Yeah, and then the wind blew really hard, so I don't know.
No, it was awesome. But thank you guys for being here. I think before we get to these moments in your lives, because I know they're kind of a stacked situation going on here, which is they kind of change your life and then change your life again. And then you guys are there to support each other, which I think is something that will be helpful for people listening that might be going through similar things. But before we talk about the specific moments, maybe you can set the stage as to where you were in life and kind of what you guys were doing and, who you were at that point in time or right before.
We had been dating for several years and got engaged in July of 2016. I'm terrible with dates. He's the date person.
Yes.
So we got engaged in July of 2016. We started looking for venues, doing all the planning, all that stuff.
July 2017, because we got married in 2018. We were less than a year.
I don't remember.
Yeah, July of 2018.
Okay.
Yep.
One of those years.
I am the date person anyway.
We were doing all the planning to try and have it happen the next year, and things were rolling along pretty smoothly, I think.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, you were all-star on the planning, as most women are. Like,
yeah, I tried.
Everything was going well. We had a venue. We had our guest list pretty much set out. We knew what food we had.
I got my dress.
You had your dress for free.
Yep.
It was amazing. Anyway, so everything was going very well.
We were in the process. We had dates planned out for when we were meeting with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just kind of had things set out, and so just kind of taking one step at a time. And
it really wasn't like that stressful, you know, like it kind of just flowed.
Yeah.
So yeah, things were good and in general.
And I mean, the only thing that was really going on was I was getting really bad migraines, but we thought it was stress from work because I had a lot going on at work. And then obviously a little bit with the planning stuff because money becomes kind of tight in there when you're planning for a wedding.
Right.
And so, yeah, we just thought it was stress related. So that was really the only like hiccup in anything, I would say.
Yeah.
At the time.
You felt like life was normal, but you were getting headaches and
they were getting worse.
That was kind of a signal. What were you experiencing?
Let's also add in here that my uncle had a heart attack and passed away.
Yeah,
I forgot about that
in December.
And that happened. No, it happened in November. We went up there right at Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So right before that, I had gone into the DMV for my, get your license updated stuff, and I failed the eye exam.
And that was a shock to you?
Not really a shock because I knew my vision was not working in one eye, but I thought it was migraine related. And I hadn't really said anything to anybody because I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. I thought it was nothing. My doctor didn't think it was anything. He just thought it was stress related. He thought it was migraine related. So I just kept plugging along.
Like we all do.
I think what really triggered it was she was in the bedroom standing at the closet, and I walked up next to her on her right side, and she had no idea I was there. And I didn't realize that she didn't know I was there. Yeah. And she turned, and it scared her. And I was like, "You didn't know I was there?" She's like, "No."
Oh,
you didn't. I mean, I was,
right in my peripheral where I couldn't see.
So then I'm like, "What do you mean?" And so I'm like, I'm asking questions. I'm curious because this is not normal. And
concerned.
Very concerned. So at that,
and I still wasn't.
No, and she clearly, and so at that point, I think both of us were like, all right, let's take this a step further. Let's maybe go to the eye doctor. Let's go.
Well, no, the doctor was still blowing it off.
Well, I think
I didn't go to the eye doctor till the DMV made me go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I go to the DMV.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you can't get your driver's license renewed unless you can see and take the eye test. The best part was the lady was like, is the machine not working? And I was like, it must not be because I can't see anything. It was working just fine. So
it was a signal for you.
Yeah.
Were you listening?
I mean, I kind of. So I left and made an eye appointment and went into the eye doctor, and she was like, something's wrong. And I'm like, well, yeah, I can't see.
Right. Still, were you super concerned at this point, or were you still kind of blowing it off a little bit?
I was still just kind of like, whatever, I have something going on. Like,
yeah. Because
nobody else had given me any reason to be concerned. Like, the doctor didn't seem to think it was a problem. I had asked him if I should go see a neurologist, if I should go somewhere for my migraines. And he was like, no, here, just take some medicine. So I didn't see any reason to concern myself because why stress yourself out if you don't need to?
Right, because he thought it was just stress that was causing the migraines, which were then causing...
Yeah. And I did have a lot going on at work. We had an accrediting thing coming up. And so it was like everybody was like hands in on everything.
Right.
So, yeah, I just kind of blew it off as nothing until the eye doctor was like, you need to go see a specialist. And I was like, okay. So, yeah, that was like the moment where it was like all...
It got a little serious.
Yeah.
Or a lot serious.
Yeah, and then it was, 2 weeks before Christmas, because it was right after Thanksgiving, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was right after Thanksgiving, and she's like, you need to go see a specialist. Well, I called 4. And they're like, we have no availability until February. And I'm like, that's not going to work. When I called back, they were like, okay, come back and we're going to give you an order to go get an MRI done. And I was like, oh, so it's serious.
Right. So at that point, did you start feeling that it was serious yet?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Fair. I mean, here's the thing. I don't think that that's unique to you.
Yeah.
I think especially as Americans, there's many of us that are like, it's not serious until it's really serious.
Yeah.
Like there's that moment.
Well, and like you don't want to psych yourself up for something that you don't need to. And I had just gone through like my uncle passing away and my family, like my mom had lost her brother. It was a mess going on,
right,
family wise, and then just everything going on at work. It was a big old mess. Like the only thing that was legitimately like not a mess was like my house. This was like my sanctuary of like, I can go plan a wedding and not worry about any of you people. So oddly enough, that was like the best part of all of it, was having that as like something to like look forward to and do.
Right. So I'm assuming you got the MRI.
Oh, yeah. So I go to the hospital. This is quite the story. I don't know if you want me to tell it, but
sure. It's your story.
I go to the hospital after teaching class, and it's a Saturday because we have crazy schedules in December. I go to the hospital at like 5:00 on a Saturday or something ridiculous like that, and I have to go to the ER because that's where they send you for an MRI if you can't get one scheduled. I go in and they don't have any availability to get me in, and to get into the hospital was an absolute joke. Why are you here? My eye doctor sent me. Well, what do you need? An MRI. Well, why do you need an MRI? I can't see. Okay, so, and I'm like, listen, here's the paperwork. Just do the MRI.
Right.
It took me probably 30 minutes to get into the hospital. Like, it was ridiculous. Wow. And I understood, they don't want somebody just wandering in there being like, I need this done. But I had the paperwork. Like, I'm not just here for the heck of it. I don't want to sit in a hospital. I don't want any medication. I'm not here for pain pills. Like, I just want this done to go home. They couldn't get me in, so they had to admit me because the MRI machine was backed up because of accidents and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
It was the coldest day of the year, and they put me in the only room that was available where the heat was broken, and the AC was on full blast.
That didn't help.
So already
didn't help things.
This is just going south like real fast. Right. Anyway, I'm standing in the room, and this was probably like the first point where I was like, oh, this is serious. I'm standing in the room and bright lights are on. I'm in like my regular clothes, and this guy comes in and he's like, where's so-and-so? And I'm like, I don't know who that is. And he's like, oh, it's one of the nurses. He's like, has she come by? And I was like, no. And he stops me like mid-sentence, and he was like, what's wrong with your eye? And I was like, and he's at the door, and I'm on the other side of the room, and I'm like, whoa, like, what are you talking about? He's like, girl, what's wrong with your eye? And at that point, apparently my pupil was like as big as the iris. And he was like, is that light bothering you? And I was like, yeah, a little bit. And he goes, so he turns it down and like makes the room a little bit better, like ambiance wise. Right. And then he says to me, he's like, I just want you to know everything's going to be okay. And I was like, who are you?
Ominous.
He's like, honestly, he's like, something told me, he's like, I had to come up here to this room and ask for my friend. He was like, but I'm being told right now to tell you that everything's going to be okay. And I was like,
wow.
And I mean, like, I still get goosebumps telling that story, but he was so like, I don't know, just like focused on me. And he was like, and I'm going to tell you this right now. He's like, you won't see me again. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, are you going to disappear? Are you a ghost? Like, what's going on? And he goes, I'm the crash car guy. He goes, if you see me again, we have a problem. He goes, but I'm telling you right now, you won't see me again. He's like, and everything's going to be okay. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to go sit back over here.
Right. Was that scary or was that comforting?
A little of both. But like I said, that was at the point where I was like, okay, this is serious. Like, something's wrong. Yeah. I'm in the right place. I'm where I need to be. But that guy, like, yeah, it was a little scary right in there. Because I was like, okay, what's going to happen in the next, like, hour or so? So, Yeah, once they finally like got the MRI, which was a total to-do in of itself, room was freezing cold all night. Like the woman came in and put a heated blanket around my face while I was sleeping because it was so cold. They left my door open because like the temperature, remember when you came in, you were like, why is it so damn cold in here? It was like 20 degrees difference from the hallway to the room. But yeah, I was in my clothes, not in like hospital scrubs. Like it was real weird. But yeah, they do the MRI, and the guy, like after he did the MRI, they can't tell you anything legally. But then he's like wheeling me back out to the nurse. He's like, good luck with everything. And I was just like, okay, like, come on.
Give me a little more than that.
Yeah, and I knew he couldn't.
Right.
And then he came by, but had to leave to take his daughter home. And that was when the nurse came back in with the doctor. Sweetest little old lady.
Yeah.
But she comes around and sits next to me and like puts her hands on my hand. And I was like, oh God, like, am I dying?
Right.
And
just tell me.
Yeah. The doctor comes in and she's like, so you have a meningioma. And I was like, English. Like,
right.
Ooh. And she's like, you have a brain tumor. And stress situations for me are probably different than they are for most people, because all I heard in my head was Arnold Schwarzenegger is not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
And then I had to snap myself back to reality because I'm the only person in the room. And I'm like, listen, like, you're the only one here. You've got to remember everything she says. It's important. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? So conversation with her, she's like, it's non-cancerous. And I was like, how the hell do you know that? Because, you know, you just told me I have a tumor. And she's like, this goes back to doctor school. I'm just like, so then I was like, okay, so can I go home? Do you have to operate? Like, what's the plan here? And she's like, let me go ask if you can go home or if we need to operate right now. I was like, I hope it's not right now because I'm not prepared for this. So yeah, they ended up letting me go home, and then I had surgery about a week and a half later.
Yep.
I think it was.
Yep.
So it was a pretty whirlwind couple weeks.
Yeah, that's big news, and then big changes, right? What was the biggest change right away that you had to adjust to? Right
then and there, nothing really. I was supposed to go to Montana for Christmas, and the doctor was like, that's not happening.
You're not flying.
Right.
My neurosurgeon has zero bedside manner, but I'm okay with that because
it sounds like you might be into that.
He's very direct. And when I say that, it's really kind of funny because when he was going through like, here's what's going to happen when you have surgery, here are the potential like things that could go wrong. Out of the eye that I could see out of, he was sitting next to me and I could just see the color draining from his face as he's like listing all of these potential, like, you could get a stroke, you could lose sight in the other eye, you could die. And like the color is just like slowly leaving his face.
Right. Yeah.
Side note, I'm a hypochondriac. So the slightest little things always, I'm like, oh, we're dying. Oh, we're dead. This is great.
Well, I mean, I think that's important for people because, you know, you were probably her rock at the time, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, what was going through your head?
Oh, man.
I mean, the least amount of curse words possible.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, I mean, the way my brain works, immediately I'm like, oh my God, I haven't even got married. We're not even married. This is not happening. Like, this is no way. This is crazy. And I think it had a lot to do with, like she said, the way his demeanor and how he is, I think is what made it worse for me because there was no, there's no gray. So it's like all of this trying to go in at one time. Meanwhile, I'm kind of looking at her and she's not like super concerned. Right. So I'm, part of me was like, okay, so if she's not super worried, it's okay. But what should she be really worried right now? So yeah, it was difficult, I guess. The word is, it was difficult.
Well, I think that's normal. I think in a lot of relationships, there's that one person that worries way too much, and then the other person that just kind of, it's like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
So I guess it kind of worked out that it was you, Christina, that had the issue, and he was watching, at least for now, in this part of the story.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
What was your actual quality of life after surgery? What were some of the bigger changes that you had?
I wasn't supposed to do much of anything. My blood pressure and heart rate needed to stay like as low as possible. I wasn't even supposed to take the dog out because if he were to pull on the leash, it could potentially like cause my heart rate to go up. And that's because after you have brain surgery, there's potential for like a rupture or I guess something like that where like there's too much going on up there and the brain just overstimulates itself before it's healed.
Okay. So that was during like the healing phase?
Yeah, and I wasn't supposed to like lift a basket of laundry. I wasn't allowed to like drive for 6 weeks. Like when I tell you I was bored, I made him take me to the grocery store because I was just like, I need out of the house.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like, are you sure you want to go? I'm like, yes, I need to see people.
Yeah. And how long was the recovery period?
6 weeks was like how long I had to go without driving. And I think it was 3 months before I could do any sort of like exercise.
It was a good 3 months before you can do anything strenuous.
Yeah, like I could do a little bit more as like the 6 weeks passed. They were like, you can lift like 10 pounds, you can take dog for a walk, that sort of thing. I still was cautious bending over. I would try to like squat and then stand back up if I had to like do something.
How many years out are we now?
Four. I don't even know how long we've been married. 4. Because we ended up actually going to the courthouse. I actually got the phone call about the surgery while we were in line at the courthouse. Remember to do the paperwork?
Yes.
And you were supposed to fly to the Bahamas.
I was supposed to fly to the Bahamas for work, and we got that call. So then I had to call my boss and say, sorry, I can't go to the Bahamas.
Which was really funny because they didn't like they were like, oh, we thought she was just having a minor surgery.
I'm like, yeah, no, definitely not minor. Not my wife. She doesn't do minor.
No.
She wants to do it big.
She goes,
go big or go home.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Only way.
So 4 years later, what are some of your long-term differences?
I definitely still have days where I get like overstimulated or the next day I'm like super exhausted, especially if I have to be on for a long period of time. Like I get really exhausted. We actually just went to a wedding and they had a crazy hour and it was a lot of fun, but the flashing lights from they had like little sunglasses that had the strobe lights and little things that had the strobe lights. And I don't know, I don't want to say I lost it, but I was just like uncomfortable and my one eye hurt because so light still comes in through this one. And so when there's too much or too many flashing things or, too much going on, it bothers me. So once I kind of got myself settled down, I just wore sunglasses inside in the dark.
Yeah.
And it was fine. Huh? But yeah, there's definitely days.
And I'm sure people understand.
Yeah. And my friend who was getting married, she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I was like, dude, it's your wedding. Like, I'm not mad. I'm not I'm dealing with it. I'm over here. Like, just give me a minute and I'll be fine. I don't want to be the center of attention on that for sure. But yeah, no, the overstimulation definitely still happens. I'm not back to where I was like physical activity either. And I think that's just, a process of time and like stuff going on and like work and everything else.
Right. Plus, like a global pandemic.
I did start working out a little bit more when we were home, but even then it was lower than what I would have done, pre-surgery. Cause I used to go to like CrossFit every morning, like 5 days a week.
So
that doesn't happen.
So as if it wasn't enough to have this tumor taken out, you guys have more in your relationship that came after. So I guess, Ricky, you want to share what happened and
month after surgery?
What happened after surgery?
So about a month and a half after surgery, I got sick. I got the flu, just regular flu. And I had mono back in 2004. So anytime after, like if I get the flu, it's like it enhanced. And so the flu was not just like a couple days. It ended up being like a whole week worth of just not feeling
right.
Good. So I finally, got better, felt better, went back to work, felt normal again. I was down in Miami working, and side note, my diet at the time, probably for the previous 10 years, was a construction diet. Energy drinks, 7-Eleven food, nothing
Doritos.
Yeah, just on the go, whatever I wanted, anytime. I'm down in Miami working. I'm having waffles, pancakes with syrup. I have orange juice, energy drinks, of course, to make it through the day. So by day 2 in
We don't sleep.
No. So by day 2 in Miami, I'm starting to feel like just off.
Yeah.
I had dizziness. It just was like, from the time I would wake up in the morning, I would just feel like just dizzy, thirsty. It's weird, things that I'd never really experienced. And throughout the day, it progressively got worse because I wasn't drinking water. I was just sugar. So about third, fourth day, I'd already talked to her, and I was like, something's not right. I just don't feel right. I can't shake this. And I'm like, I'm going to have to see the doctor when I get back. So Friday, come back from the trip, I scheduled an appointment for Monday morning to go see the doctor.
Oh, you didn't wait like 6 months like Christina?
Yeah.
No, he goes right away.
Yeah.
Unless I talk him out of it.
Yeah. Like, I'm not a big doctor. I wasn't a big doctor person.
Right.
But something like that, it just wasn't.
You knew something was up.
Yeah. Things weren't normal. And I was kind of freaking out, as I mentioned, hypochondriac. So Monday morning rolls around. I go into the doctor, and again, I'm still feeling, just not drained and thirsty. So like, I would drink water. I'm thirsty. I drink water. I'd still be thirsty. So it was just, I don't know. It was so weird to explain, but so anyway, Monday morning, go to the doctor, and I explained to the doctor, hey, this is what I have going on, all these symptoms, things going on. And immediately I can see it on her face. She was like, okay, let's check your blood sugar. So I'm like, okay, never had that done.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
Do a little test.
Have at it.
Meter comes up and says, oh, wow, this is not good. And I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? She goes, well, your blood sugar is at 450. I'm like, okay, then what is an acceptable range?
We don't know what that means.
Yeah, I was like, is that bad? She goes, that's very bad. 70 to 140 is a normal operating blood glucose for everyone. I'm like,
right.
Oh, that's very bad.
So we're a little high.
Yeah. I said, so I think I actually said, so does that mean I'm dying or I'm going to die? Like, what's going on? She goes, no, but if we don't fix this, then yes, you could end up in a coma or in the hospital. And yeah.
Right. So
I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? She goes, well, that's diabetic. That's diabetes. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So at that point, I didn't know I didn't know anything about diabetes. I didn't know how it worked. I think like most people, you equate diabetes to overweight. That's what my thinking was. So now I'm like asking questions. Okay, how does that happen? How do you know? So she kind of goes into explaining that there's 2 types. You have type 1, you have type 2. This is what each one is.
And they thought you were type 2 for a while.
And at first they thought I was type 2, but she was having a hard time accepting that that I was type 2 because for everyone, the difference, type 2 is something that develops. So it typically, people that are obese, it tends to build up over time. So the glucose in your blood builds up, and what happens is your body produces insulin, but it doesn't know how to use it anymore. It can be reversed. Type 1, it's just a pancreas doesn't produce any more insulin. Mm-hmm. So at that point, you have to be on artificial insulin, and that's it. There's no changing that. That's permanent for the rest of your life. So she was in the middle of she didn't really know what to diagnose me until after, obviously, blood work and such.
Yeah, because you weren't overweight by any stretch.
Absolutely not. She said, we're going to give you, we're going to get you on some medicine to try to get this glucose down. She gave me some paperwork. This is what you need to do. You need to stay away from sugars. You need to stay away from carbohydrates, lots of water. You need to do fruits and grains and things of that nature. So,
and they did not explain it very well at all because it's taken us 4 years probably to figure a lot of it out.
Yeah, there was a lot of overtime that I researched and figured out and learned on my own. But at the immediate time, me being me, I got to change. Okay, right. We're changing. So I immediately just 180, no sugar, no carbohydrates, no breads, and just salads and water. And
right.
Pretty much that was it for a little while.
Was that a shock to your system?
Just a bit.
Yeah, it was. It was. I had headaches because I was having sugar withdrawal,
And
caffeine
caffeine.
withdrawal because I was no soda, like straight cold turkey. I'm going to do it. And it scared me. It scared me. I mean,
well, and the funny part was, he came home and he's like, so I have diabetes, and again, I am not the best in stressful situations. And I was like, oh, you couldn't just let me have my brain tumor, could you? And then he looks at me with this look, and I was like, oh, too soon. Okay, I'm here for you.
Right. Well, yeah, it's like, I'm sure that was an extra stress for you because you probably, Ricky, you felt like you were the caretaker, right? Or trying to help.
Yeah.
And then you get this and you're like, okay, now I have to help myself and someone else.
Right.
Your life changed a lot in that time period.
Yeah. And at that point in time, and my mindset and who I was at that moment in that period of time, I wasn't the best at being able to handle that much change and stress at one time. It was very overwhelming for me. Just her situation alone was enough for my brain to have to cope with. Now we're adding on my half of things that it was overload. I didn't have quite the empathy I should have had for her, to understand her situation, to, I guess, be there for her like I should have been. And now I've got my own news that I'm trying to figure out over here. But it's like, I feel like, hers is a little bit more, I don't know, I guess at the time I felt like hers was a little bit more serious. But
I wasn't dying.
No, but I mean, I because at that point I still didn't know like the severity of where I was.
And there's something that they definitely didn't tell either one of us in any appointment that we went to, but people who get diabetes, especially what happened with him, and they couldn't figure out why he became a type 1. And then we started kind of researching it, and we found that like autoimmune disease, because he had mono and then got the flu, his body over attacked itself to try and like get better because of the mono. And so instead of attacking the flu cells, or instead of stopping after it attacked the flu cells, it went after something else, which was his pancreas. It's not quite as rare as we thought it was, because we've kind of started to like find some other people that have had this similar thing from either this autoimmune disease or something else. But what they don't tell you is that a lot of people in this situation go through, it's a type of depression that comes and goes. And I wasn't ready for that, and he wasn't ready for that, and it kind of put both of us in a weird spot that we were like, what do we do? Like, how do we get through this? How do we, both of us have to get past it? Because, I mean, it was stressful there for a while, because trying to control your blood sugar, and then we don't know what causes how much something's going to go up or down. And like I said, they didn't tell us anything.
Right. And it's like an experiment.
Oh, yeah.
Every time you eat, right?
Everything was an experiment.
That's exactly correct. It
still is.
It's better now. Yeah. But at that point, it really was an experiment. Every day was just, I'm
going to eat this, and I'm going to see what happens in an hour.
Yeah, we're going to see where we go from here.
Yeah. And then there would be one day where like he wouldn't need insulin because he had been doing a bunch of stuff. And what they didn't tell us is that there's a honeymoon phase where your pancreas still kind of produces some stuff. And they don't tell anybody this. And I'm sure this happens in other situations too. I don't even know if I was necessarily prepared for everything that I dealt with. So I feel like anybody going through something big, life-changing, you're not prepared for it. And there aren't these support groups out there. There aren't these people, yes, there are cancer support groups like crazy, but for these other weird little things that happen to a lot of people, it's like, you got to go find those groups on your own, and you got to like research it on your own. And it's like, do you believe this research? Do you not believe, like, do you trust this? Do you trust the people in these support groups? That sort of thing. So that would have been really helpful. And I'm sure a lot of people that you've talked to or that you will talk to are going to feel the same way about things, because I can't fathom that I'm the only person who's gone through this, and I can't fathom that he's the only person that's gone through that, and that you've gone through you know what I mean? Like, I just, I feel like somewhere out there we're missing some sort of connection to help people get through things.
Yeah, actually, I just talked to someone. We talked a little bit about her infertility and how, while she was going through that, she felt like a shame and didn't really have the resources that she needed. And we talked about how great it would be if these things were not taboo. Like, if it was okay to like just blast out there that, hey, I'm going through this issue right now. I don't need advice, but maybe you have some resources. Maybe there's a community that I can start building.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're all going to go through something.
Yep.
And it might not be as drastic. And I keep thinking about what you said, Ricky, about how hers was worse than yours. But I don't necessarily agree that either. What you were going through something really life-changing and really challenging. And she was also going through something really challenging, you know, and I think we sometimes equate, or we try to equate, like someone's bad day to another one's bad day.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we're all humans,
Yep.
you know, like whatever we're feeling at that moment is okay, you know, and we have to accept where we are and we just carry on.
Yep.
Yeah. Everyone has this kind of like through line of, you know, they have this pivotal moment, and most of them are these life-changing things. And a lot of them, the responses are grief-like.
Yeah.
You're kind of maybe mourning the life that you had before,
Mm-hmm.
and now what your new life is, and trying to adjust to that. And there is no path. Like you said, you don't know, like my path. If I had something similar to you, yours would be different.
Exactly. My path is not going to be the same as someone else's, but I got really tired of people being like, oh, it's your new normal. Oh, it's your new normal. And like, yeah, we still throw that term around, but it almost makes it sound worse.
What would you prefer?
I don't know if there's a good word for it outside of it's my life. Like,
right.
I don't want the attention put on me that like I have this new normal. I got enough of like an attention over here going like, I don't know. It's frustrating because part of you wants people to like know what you're going through, but the other part of it is you don't want the spotlight on you. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
Do I need to carry around a card that says I'm having a rough day, or I'm having like a recovery day or whatever? But on the other side of it, do you really want to be holding up that sign?
Right. I mean,
if that makes sense.
I understand the new normal piece. I think that I'm always for like, if I'm having a bad day or I'm having something that's going on, I'm okay with that. And I'm okay telling people that's what's happening. So I feel like I don't have any shame. If I'm feeling depressed, I'm going to tell someone, look, today's not my day. I'm going to honor it and I'm going to carry on. But I understand, like, you don't want people to refer to you as the person who went through this.
Yeah.
Right? You're just you.
Yeah.
And this is you.
Yeah.
Right? And you had obstacles that you overcame that you tried to ignore at the beginning. And
listen, it was just gonna go away, okay?
yeah. It's just gonna snap your fingers.
Absolutely. That's what I was hoping.
But you know what? I think there is something to be said, though, about people on the outside seeing your story. Because even just knowing you since 2008, right? And seeing the progress that you've gone through from when you found out to where you are now, I think there's inspiration in that for other people, just to build some kind of empathy, maybe not sympathy, but just understanding that people go through things and they overcome them and then they continue on. And, you know, and sure, there are going to be challenges and whatnot. I would hate, well, I can't say that. I feel like do whatever you need to do, but I think it is important and it is part of your story. And I think it could help other people.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not so much for like not helping others. I think it's, you know, it's one thing to like
you don't want to be defined.
No, and I think that's more like what I guess I don't want people to be like, oh, well, she can't do this because of her brain tumor or whatever, because she had surgery. And that was one of the hardest things to get past for me, was like being like, I can't lift this basket of laundry. Can you please? And it's just such a simple thing that like you hate asking for somebody to help you. But on the other side of it, it's like you have to, and you have to get past that and get over it and just be okay that you need help. That
is actually one of the conversations with our mutual friend, Kristen. One thing she talks about, and I keep bringing this up because I love it. She talks about radical acceptance of yourself and of other people as to wherever you are at that moment in time, that is okay. And I think it's so interesting what you just said, you know, like I might need help with things that I didn't need help with before, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's just my life. And that's okay.
But it's really hard for people. Like it was hard for me to accept, but it's also hard for other people who've seen you do A, B, and C, and now you can't do A, B, and C, hoping that they will accept you for whatever it is you're going through, hoping that they'll accept you for this point in your life that you are. Because I think a lot of times people don't accept others because our empathy is either low, it's not there, we're having a rough day providing empathy for others. I mean, I know that there are definitely some times where I'm just like, yeah, get over it. Like, I got to tell myself that too, you know, like sometimes the empathy can be hard for other people to have.
Right. And you have, I mean, as you pointed out, you have a scar and which people can see, right? And so there's probably that extra people will see it, will ask you about it, and maybe that's not something you always want to talk about.
It's funny that you say that. We were at the airport leaving Orlando, and one lady was checking us in, and this other woman came up from like, down the line. Like, I don't know if she saw me from a distance or something, but she was like, do you mind if I ask about your scar? I mean, she was very, very cautious about how she said it. And I appreciated that she asked me ahead of time. Her son currently has a brain tumor that he's got to deal with. It's in a different spot than mine was. And his is actually cancerous. So, you know, I was glad that I could provide her with some information. I was glad that I could like tell her I came through it. Granted, mine wasn't cancer related, but in that moment, that was great that I could provide that bit of, I don't know, I don't want to call it safety, but like positive hope for her maybe.
Yeah. Or community, just that they're not alone.
Yeah, for sure.
Other people.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the same thing for you, Ricky. Yours is invisible, right? Yours is something that no one would really know unless you told them. How has your life changed besides changing your food? Do you notice different things? Are you as hypochondriac as you were before?
Yeah.
I think it's worse sometimes. But he has reason to, because diabetics don't heal as fast.
There's a lot of things that definitely changed. The biggest thing, obviously, is the food, right? So, you know, it took me some time to get my mind to accept that, hey, these things are just not in your life anymore, and that's okay, because there are alternatives.
Right, you feel better.
I feel better, absolutely.
Right.
My diet was not the best, and I had to reverse that. And I look at this happening as a saving grace, I guess, because I wasn't. I mean, I didn't have a drinking problem, but I drank more often than I should. I ate whatever I wanted because I'm skinny. It doesn't matter. I can do that. I'm not going to have any problems. It's fine. I have a high metabolism and all of these things in my head telling me that it's okay to just have this diet. And I had to change all that. I had to stop all that. So for me, this helped that. This made me have to change, made me have to take vitamins, made me have to go see the doctor when I needed to see the doctor because I didn't go to the doctor. I just dealt with it, you know, and so a lot of that it's a good thing. A lot of it turned out to be a positive thing in my life, but for a good period of time, there was some depression. There was some, you know, like, oh, you know, I'd get like, woe is me, I guess. Like, friends go out, we go out, and friends can have the cake and the pie and you know, and this and that, and I can't because I just can't have that, right? So, like, you know, then there was the getting upset and angry about those things quite often.
Yeah, it's grief.
100%. It was that anger part of grief.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
sadness and
sadness. And as far as daily life outside of the food thing, I had to be very aware of where my blood sugar was at. So if I'm very active and I'm you know, exerting a lot of energy, I have to make sure that it stays up. So me being in construction and being kind of hyper, it tends to drop, which isn't a bad thing. But if I'm working and focused and not paying attention, you know, it got hard because then I would start to feel lightheaded and dizzy because now my blood sugar's low. So now I have to stop and I have to go eat something and I have to wait 15, 20 minutes to get it to catch up. And So there was that part for a good year or so where that was a battle, trying to figure all that part out, how to manage that, because I worked outside in 95, 100 degree heat. And so it was just constantly draining. So I was tired. It was a lot of just always exhausted. And then finally, once I started to discover there were ways to monitor my blood glucose without actually having to prick my finger. You get one of the CGMs that help. You're getting low, you're getting high. So that helped to make things, obviously a little bit more fluid, a little bit easier to manage. So the stress level started to come down from that. And then just trying to figure out what insulins work for me. It's kind of like everything. Not all medicines work for everybody equally. So I had started on one and I was only on it briefly, and the doctor recommended me try another type. So I started on that, and I was on that for good 2.5 years, which, I thought that one was working pretty well, but then I started to have times and periods where it just didn't seem like it worked at all. Like it might shoot up too high. And so, recently, within like the last 2 months, I changed over to a different insulin, and it's been a big change. It's working much more efficiently. Mm-hmm. So like that, for me, that's like, okay, wow, I can breathe now. I can eat, because there was a point where I wasn't eating enough food.
We got tired of trying to like check things, and I would be like, here, eat this. And he's like, I don't want to try it again. I don't want to like test this out.
Yeah.
And then the other part that we've recently realized is that his emotional state can also affect it.
Right.
Whether he's stressed or, under an anxiety attack or whatever, that can definitely affect like his glucose level too. Usually it causes it to stay high. And it's really hard to get it to come down when he's in that zone. Because, he's freaked out about it, and then his body's freaked out. And so it's just trying to get
panic.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then you panic. Yeah.
Do you find that since you got that diagnosis that you are more in tune with your body in general, like health-wise, mentally, all those other pieces?
Absolutely. So prior to me getting, it was before I got diabetes, I had anxiety. I got the anxiety, or is it?
You were on the one that didn't work.
That's right. But I had never had any, I never really felt like, I guess I wasn't aware of ever feeling like depressed or anxious, or I was always hyperactive. But there was a point before the diagnosis with diabetes, I had an anxiety attack, but I didn't know it was that. So being me, I freaked out, thought I was having a heart attack and craziness. So I would go to the hospital and get checked out, and everything's fine. Doctor says you had an anxiety attack. This is what's going on. This is what you have to do. Yada, 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 all that stuff that goes along with it. So then I start to try to manage it. Doctor puts me on a prescription medicine for it.
This is the same doctor who dismissed my migraines. So we no longer go to that doctor.
A lot of things took place stemming from. So my self-conscious of doctors, that situation did not help that. It compounded it to me. Okay, doctors are terrible. So I had to take that, and it actually didn't even work. It made me worse. So I had to wean myself off of that and get off of that. And it literally was right around the time of getting diagnosed with diabetes.
No, it was the wedding.
Well, her having that going on, then the wedding. And so all of this going on, it was very, very rough, very
awful,
tough.
And I hate to say this, and I don't think it's the right words, but in your case, it seems like for long term, this diagnosis might have been a blessing in disguise.
1,000%.
Yeah, for me, definitely.
As much as it is a pain in the butt to monitor, to keep up with, I think you're 100% spot on with that, because it forced him to take care of himself. He was more willing to go see a therapist. He was more willing to like get on some form of like anxiety medication, and listen to his body. Like, I think pre all of this, like we went to our massage therapist here and there, but now like we see him monthly or every other month. We make sure that we're like taking care of ourselves mentally first before like a lot of other things.
Yeah. And that's so important. I think so many people just, they just go. Like, it sounds like your life was just very go, 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 go. Drink the energy drink, stay awake, work as much as you can, eat whatever you want.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
Maybe this caused you to kind of slow down and pay attention.
Definitely had to take a step back
Yeah. Not that anyone wants to be diagnosed with diabetes, but maybe it helped you. It's going to help you live a more fulfilling life.
I think so.
I would say there was one day where we had that kind of like retrospect, both of us. Like you had it about yours and I had it about mine. Because, I mean, I was in the same boat. I was trying to do 8,365 things at once. Like,
right.
Yes, I still do 8,365 things at once, but I have a better schedule, I feel like. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, yeah, I still work 2 jobs. I still play a sport, but I don't do anything on the weekends. Like the weekends is our time, like we go and do stuff or we hang out at the house and do nothing. So it forced me to kind of prioritize. Yeah, that's a better word. Yeah, that's a good word.
Fill your life with the things that make you happy.
Yeah. Not just work or,
right.
Or
what society says that you should be doing. Exactly. You should be making lots of money. You should be successful. You should do this. You should play every sport. You should, I think that's common.
Yeah.
Right. I think people that go through.
During the pandemic, my second job was closed because it was retail. But then when they had the ability for me to come back, me personally, like I noticed mentally I felt better because I was back to doing something. And while it's still working 2 jobs, this one is the interaction with people that I get, that little bit that I need to like get myself like back into the, feeling like I'm being productive and doing something outside of like my teaching job.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And that's from all the conversations I've had. I feel like these moments that have kind of shifted people's lives in a different direction have always been, yes, possibly tragic, but also there's like the silver lining that has come from these moments, myself included, losing 2 people really close to me.
Yeah.
I'm almost grateful for those moments. Not that I ever want them to happen to anyone else, but I'm who I am because of those moments. And I think that we can take some positivity from terrible events because it causes us to slow down, pay attention, take care of ourselves, only do things that really matter.
Well, and you have to find the silver lining. Otherwise you're stuck in that negative window of like, why me, why me, why me? And that's not going to do any good for you or anyone else. I remember somebody saying to me, like, when something bad happens, like sit with it for whatever amount of time. If you need to sit with it for an hour, if you need to sit with it for a day, like tell yourself, I'm sitting in this. I'm going to sit in this grief. I'm going to sit in this why me, this horrible, like, and get all of that out. And then, move on, not move on, but like find the positive in it and move forward. Because if you sit in that grief is the best way to put it. If you sit in that and never leave it, you're never going to move past it. You're never going to like grow. You're never going to move forward. Like you're always going to be sitting in this pocket, and that's where you're stuck.
You're not going to live your life.
Yeah. 1,000%. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would add to that too. And I think I said it earlier is that grief moment, however long that is, it's also okay. And I think some people are afraid to honor that, to honor the sadness, honor the anger, honor the really crappy feelings, those are okay. We're human. Those are expected.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Don't sit in it for too long because then you get stuck.
Yeah. And I think, sometimes you have to revisit it. You have those bad days where you have to revisit that grief element. Yep. But I also think people who are stuck there are afraid. They're afraid that if they move past it, they're going to forget about the person or the event or whatever it is that caused it. They're going to forget.
Yeah.
And they're so scared to step out of that grief bubble because they're afraid they're going to forget.
It is also for many people, and I don't know either of you if ever, you've faced depression or those moments, sometimes sitting in that moment is a blanket, is a comfort blanket. Yeah. And it's much easier to stay in there in those drowning type feelings than it is to really take off that heavy weighted blanket and move forward.
I've seen people do it. Like
it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary because now you're now you're forcing yourself to face the reality, life.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what
Vulnerability.
exactly. No one wants to be vulnerable, and
Right. But we all should be.
Absolutely.
You have to be, otherwise you're gonna stay there.
and it's
Right.
interesting that we say that and we say that word, because that's in essence exactly how I felt. Like I had never in my life felt vulnerable. I always felt invincible. I felt I could do all of these things. I can do whatever I wanted. I can eat, drink, go, anything I wanted to do, and it didn't matter. And the consequences weren't very drastic at all. And then all of a sudden, boom.
Right.
This is now 100%, a 180 of life, and anything you do in that realm, food wise, can have a drastic change on your life and health, and you now have to pay attention to that every day. And that being a biggest change, I was never used to that. I didn't have to that wasn't a thought process. A lot of people are just scared because that's the reality. Now they have to adjust and adapt to that, and they just don't want to go there. It's easier for them to just hide away.
Yeah.
Right. Not change.
And
yeah. Sometimes life forces us to make these changes, and whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always love people who are like, you went back to playing hockey and you can only see out of one eye. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, and you still drive? Yeah. I also walk around. I do other stuff. I'm like, what am I supposed? That's what I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like,
right.
Stay home and be like, I can only see out of one eye, so I can't leave the house. Like,
right. Yeah. You still got a life to live.
Absolutely.
Which, and I thank you. I thank you for sharing both of your stories. I do see this growth though. Like, I see happiness in our conversation, and despite the terrible things that you guys faced over the last couple of years, I feel like it's made you even better people and better humans.
Absolutely.
And I think it's we all grow from these moments, whether we like it or not. And I think you guys have grown in a positive direction.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And I didn't even make that up. I'm serious. I feel like, and I feel like you guys sharing these things, whoever's listening can learn from it, whether or not they've had the same exact experiences.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and thank you for being on here.
Absolutely. No, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course. So we will see you next time. Hopefully I'll talk to you soon. Tell my couch I said hello.
Will do.
Yes.
All right. See you guys later.
All right. Bye. Bye.
You've just listened to the Life Shift podcast. Please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. For more information about how you can support the Life Shift podcast, please visit www.thelifeshiftpodcast.com. See you next time.